Դուք լսում եք Ժամանակակից արվեստի ինստիտուտի ոդքասթը։ Այստեղ մենք քննարկում ենք ինչ ասես, հիմնականում արվեստ։
Hi everyone, and thank you for joining us on this new episode of our podcast, Guest at Nest. Today I have the pleasure to welcome an artist duo from France, composed of Sonia Saroya and Edouard Sufrin, who are here for the NOPA Festival for Sonic Art, happening now in Yerevan. Hello Sonia and Edouard, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
So just to give a short introduction on what you do, so your work consists in visual art / sound art installations in urban spaces and natural landscapes with a multidisciplinary approach combining social sciences, philosophy, and low-tech technologies. You experiment with sampled voices, analog and digital sound textures in order to design immersive and artistic journeys. So my first question is, what is your background as visual / sound artist, and what's your main focus? What's the driving force, let's say, in your art?
Our background is that we studied at Art University at Paris 8. Maybe that's why also we love to link human sciences, philosophy, as you said, or social approach to the way we make art, to make some reference.
And we was really interested about site-specific installation and almost on underground places like caves and things like this. And we start to do some creation for these kind of places. And we discover it was like, I don't know, a lot of years ago.
10 years before.
Yes, 10 years before. We start to discover the link between the sound and the feelings when you are in this kind of space, and the possibility of the immersivity of the sound. So we start to work with this material. And
this place influence our work, mostly underground place and dark places, because with just some little lights or some sounds, you don't need a big gear and a lot of materials to have impact on our senses. And this also bring us to approach the thing like all must be autonomous to easily
be deployed on different kind of environments. For example, if you are in the forest, you don't have electricity. So how do you do to make an installation with sound, with light, with technological techniques, but also reflection in this kind of environment? So we start to build for us, it's like tool and art.
Creations.
It's creation and tools in the same approach.
And often these tools we develop for our projects, like for these journeys or sound installation or immersive installation. We develop our tools and use it in a certain way, but also it's nice to share the tools with other artists and make collaboration. And often we like to just doing our own things, but
we
collaborate with people
with different kind of artists.
And and you also, as I researched what you do, you also like to you engage in pedagogical activities, initiatives, so you share your knowledge, like you do I don't know, workshop, conferences. And what knowledge do you share?
Usually it's on the same, it's a whole approach about art, but this approach is large, and for us it's really important to be conscious at the people we are talking. So they can be kids, they can be a teacher, they can be researchers,
other artists or musicians. Sometimes we used to work with autistic people also, or in some cultural and social places.
Yes, so we choose what we do being this context, and but it's always linked at our work, like for the autistic people where we work, it was built specific instruments to play with them, or to make soundscapes.
Mm-hmm.
At the beginning, in fact, we were the first contact. We used to work for almost 2 years with autistic people. First contact was coming as a sound artist and make this kind of relaxing naps with sounds, where we realized some kind of sounds were really helpful for them. But the thing is, when the artists are here and when there is funds to bring the artist to the hospital everywhere, it's nice for them. But after, when we move, there is nothing. So the year after, we collaborate to build instruments.
To build and also make some tutorial of that and share it.
And could you tell us about one project that would highlight your collaboration?
We are talking before about autistic people, and this experience create one very important project for us called Derniers Souffles.
Derniers Souffles, which maybe could be translated by last breath.
And this project is start with this point. We was looking for we said before, some sound can help them to be calm, to keep some calm, and one of them is, there are two in reality: low frequencies and white noise. And white noise is like all the frequencies put together at the same volume, and he become this white noise. It's like a shh. It's this kind of noise.
When you are in between two radio stations, or when you push your amplifier very loud with no music, you can hear this kind of from machines.
Yes.
But it's also close from the sound of the wind, or the sound of the sea, or the sound of the rain.
Yes.
So this kind of
sound. And we was looking for two things for this project. One, it was like how to create some instrument very cheaper and very easy to reproduce, to have like a tool for the hospital and to share it like this. If one of the people they work on this kind of hospital can be himself the tools, and the other was artistic project. It was like a reason to go deep in this research. It was okay, now we want to have some special sound texture of this noise, and we find a way with old component, old Soviet component.
Yes, because white noise generator, it's called, is electronic device who made this noise, and it's really old, like the beginning of electronics. So we went back into the old electronics manuals to find how it's made, and trying to make some more not organic for a technological thing, but playing with old electronic components we are not as precise.
They are unstable. So inside your component you have some mineral. The first was in germanium, and after you have in silicium. And these minerals give the sound of the circuit. So we start to build some circuit, try all the components, and to try all the sounds, and also it was an excuse to looking for the history of the development of electronic, and also have a better understanding about this development between the ecological problem, between the social problem, because they tell a lot of things when you are looking for...
Because when you look for old electronic components, you look for the good reference, but for the sound you realize even the same component from the same factory, they just make different sounds. So it's really interesting, acoustically speaking, but it's good to learn the history of the factories. So you learn the factory were closed. It brings us also to the history of how many technological developments, like how many of these transistors or diodes there is inside our computers and how many billions are produced nowadays.
Well, you go into economics
Yes.
and social layers of the...
The start is the sound, but in the back of the sound there are all of this. It's like an excuse, and at the end we built in one installation. It's a circuit of white noise made in jewelry technique.
Jewelry?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
It's like
with brass sculpture. It's an electronic circuit.
Yes.
Inside emergency boxes, like the one in the street, you have to break the glass in case of emergency.
Yeah.
This is in it, and the sound is spread by old factory or military loudspeakers, and all the elements have a kind of symbolic side about our history, the history of industrialization.
And when we present this kind of installation, we do some co-references to speak about all of this history and technical things and ecological problematic.
Yeah, I mean, as you speak, I understand why you teach this whole thing, because it's such a wide context around what you do. Yeah, and the other thing I thought about is that there are minerals in those components, and also in the other projects, you said that you went back to the caves. So it's the connection with you go back to the mineral.
Yes.
Literally into the into the earth.
I think it's the mineral are our first, how do you say, inspiration. Yes.
Yes, it's really inspiring.
Yes.
Okay, and now coming to the NOPA, coming to your input in the NOPA Festival. So you contributed to build an Acousmonium. So that's an orchestra for loudspeakers. But can you explain to our listeners what it is, how it emerged, and how you managed to build one in Armenia? Obviously not alone, with the collaboration of many people. So yeah, can you tell us a bit about the context around it?
So an Acousmonium is an installation made by first in history was because they have this movement of music called electroacoustic. They was the first time they made music with recording, and they was preoccupied by the question: how can you do a concert if nobody are playing, if you doesn't have an orchestra in front of you, the people doesn't want to come in the concert place to see one guy play, and it's all. So they imagine an orchestra of speakers, and it's like you have 12, 24, 64, 90 speakers in the space. And the sound can move on one other speaker, so you have the feeling when you are in the concert place. You have this feeling the sound is moving on the space, and you are like more immersed inside of the sound. And usually it's played while you have like a very big table mix. And the people put the sound with the fingers on different speakers to move it. And for the NOPA Festival, we took this history, but in different way, because usually the Acousmonium spaces are like always in very institutional place, and they cost a lot. They are so many expensive because you need to have like a real good speakers. You choose it one by one because the range of frequency or the specificity and all of these things.
And at the time, half of 20th century, playing with electronic recording tapes, and then a few years after, the first synthesizer was a really expensive thing.
Yes.
Which was really reserved to people of our institution with a lot of money. But nowadays, with computers and the electronics we were talking about before, it's really more affordable. So a lot of people can go into that. So it's no more very reserved to a certain class. Even that, the Acousmonium, when you want to see Acousmonium, most of the time you have to see to this electroacoustic place, which are not so known by the people.
Yes, so this practice was dying in reality because of the way they do that, and we try here to conceptualize this in another way. We only want to build it, so we are working with what we found here, and the start of it was like little speakers. We come here with a lot of little speakers, but you can't do an Acousmonium with this, like really little. So we meet also the SEC association.
Sound enthusiast community.
Sound enthusiast.
They are hosted by the High Art Museum.
Yes. They say, okay, we have 1-2 speakers, you can go in the Residency market, maybe you find another's. And with all of this material, and also, I don't know, some lamp we found on the Residency market, we built a lot of different kinds of speakers. And at the end, we had 40 speakers.
Wow, 40 speakers?
Yes.
Maybe a little, 40, 42, I don't know.
42, yes, at the end. It was like a lot of construction because we repair, we transform, and sometimes it's a really strange object, you know. They are not speaker in reality, it's like a piece of steel with a speaker put inside, and okay, let's try for have an experimental way to listen music. And with all of these things, we put all on one software project done by Mauro. It's a software to make all the spatialization. And voila, we have an Acousmonium.
And yeah, one last question is about your, I don't know, artistic perspective in Armenia. What were you impressed by? I don't know, as a visual artist, as a sound artist, what will you take back to France from Armenia, let's say?
I think in reality, the things very beautiful that happened here was that all the people we meet, they do a real community to help one another, and I think that's really important, and that's not happened in all the part of the world, and for me is that vision of
collaborative approach.
Yes, and collaborative approach, and it's really interesting to see how they do together, or they help, or they share the knowledge, and when one artist come to work on the Acousmonium, immediately he is sharing with others, and there's something very beautiful this vision.
It's the true meaning of collaboration. Everybody come or was here with his knowledge and tools, and putting it on the table all together. So finally we did that.
Okay, well, thank you so much for sharing this experience with us, and we wish you good luck for your upcoming projects in the caves or in the forest. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.